Hi everyone, this is Honors Algebra 2 Chapter 2 Review Part 2 from 3.1 to 3.3. Please note to press the pause button if you have to write things down, or if you don't quite understand, just pause it, go back, re-understand the information. Number 6, here's a question. X squared plus 3x minus 28 is greater than or equal to 0. What do we do first? We can factor this out. It becomes x here, and then greater than or equal to 0. It'll be plus 7 and minus 4. X squared minus 4x plus 3x, plus 7x is 3x, and then minus 28 is greater than or equal to 0. X equals negative 7 as a root, x equals 4 as a root. So if you graph it out, negative 7, and then here's 4, it's inclusive, so it goes right here. It's quadratic, which means that it's a parabola in shape. Where is it positive? Here, negative here, positive here, and you want this to be greater than 0. So there's your answer right there. Mathematically speaking, x is going to be less than negative 7 or equal to it because it's inclusive, or it's going to be the opposite, which is x is greater than or equal to 4. And there it is. Problem the next problem is a little bit more difficult and challenging, and I had to rework the problem now with a calculator. So if you don't know how to use a graphing calculator, did you notice that it said it has an icon there? It said with a calculator. The only way you can solve this out is using a calculator. And by the way, you have to know how to solve these out in pre-calculus as well as calculus, so please learn it now so that you don't have trouble later on in calculus or pre-calculus. The first thing we do is we go to the calculator, in the calculator button, you got y equals button there, press that button, and then input this information. Once you put in that information on the Windows, it says Windows right over here, make sure you set it from negative 5 to 5 on your y, and for your x, set it from negative 5 to 5. That way you can close it up a little bit more. And then press the graph button on your calculator. And it should look something like this. What you're trying to do is here's the zeros. You're trying to actually literally find the zeros for these points right here. To do that, you have to go to your calculator, and it says calculate. It's a second, and then calculate. It's the second button from the right. When you press the calculate button, another window comes up, and it says dot 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 dot, and the second one says find the zeros, because that's what we're looking for. Okay. When you press a 0 or press number 2, use the down arrow key or press number 2, you end up with a new window with a graph right over here. And you have to use the left arrow key until you get an X that's going to go along this line. You have to use the left arrow or the right arrow key until you get it to the left of this first 0. Press the enter button. This is the enter button. And then use your right arrow key to get to here along this graph. So it's going to calculate between here what this new 0 is. And press enter one more time and end up with a value of negative 1.71. You do the same thing for this one, and this one as well. And I've actually calculated that. It came out negative 0.60, 0.69, and then 2.12. And notice it's positive, negative, and positive, and you want it to be less than 0. So it'll be right here and right here. Whoops, sorry, right here. I redid the problem. It's going to be less than 0. I want it to be greater than 0 this time. So I changed the problem just a little bit. So it'll actually be this one right over here, this one right over here, and this one right over here. Okay? So erase this and erase this. So your answer is going to be x is going to be less than or equal to negative 1.71. It's going to be between, x is going to be between negative 0.60 and 0.69. There's an or situation. Or x is going to be greater than or inclusive, this is a solid circle, 2.12. That's your mathematical answer. That's your graphical answer. Good luck with that. You're going to have to know how to do this on the next problem, a problem after this one, the next one. Let's do number 8. That was in the practice quiz. X minus 3 times x minus 2 all over x plus 1 quantity squared times x plus 5 has to be less than or equal to 0. I changed the value of this one too as well. Just a little bit. Well, to find the zeros of this, x equals 3, x equals 2, x cannot equal 1, or negative 1 that is. If you plug in negative 1 plus 1, you get 0. 0 squared is 0. Anything over 0 is undefined. That's the reason why it's a undefined number at x equals negative 1, and obviously x cannot equal negative 5. So what we do is, for all intents and purposes, we can actually literally graph it. This is called a rational function, and you're going to learn how to graph this in pre-calculus next year. But for all intents and purposes, we can just kind of treat this as a regular polynomial with x equals 3, 2, negative 1, and negative 5. And it's not going to equal negative 1, so put an open circle at negative 1 and 5. It's going to be a closed circle at 2 and 3. The degree here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And leading coefficient is positive. That means the right end behavior is going to go up, the left behavior is going to go down. Here it is. Goes through it, and it's got a double root at negative 1. So it's going to bounce back up and then go down. Did you notice the left behavior was down, the right behavior was up? It's going to be very important in calculus as well. So, what are my solutions? I want it to be less than 0, so it's right over here and right over here. That means my solution is going to be x is less than negative 5, or x is going to be between inclusive 2 and 3. That's my answer. X is less than 5 because it's not inclusive of 5. Don't forget that it's an open circle, guys. Or x is between negative 2 and 3. Okay, let's look at number 9 now. And I know most of you missed this problem. Let's see how to solve this. Suppose P of x is greater than Q of x. You notice that on the part right there, there's a little calculator. That means you have to use a calculator to solve this out. I'm going to use a simple one. A function P of x is 2x squared minus 3, and Q of x is 4x minus 5. The first thing we do is we just put the function for P of x. So 2x squared minus 3 is greater than 4x minus 5. We moved this to the right side, so you end up with 2x squared minus 4x, and then add 5, you get plus 2 is greater than 0. Divide by 2, factor out of 2, get x squared minus 2x plus 1 is greater than 0. And it's not factorable. And here's what happens. I used a graphing calculator, just like my previous problem, and to graph it out. And I have to find the zeros, so I used the calculate button, and it came out negative 0.414, and this one came out 2.414. And since it's greater than, it's an open circle. Don't forget the open circles, guys. And it's going to be greater than 0, which means a positive, negative, positive. It's going to be here and here. So my mathematical solution is x is less than negative 0.414, or x is greater than 2.414. Good luck on this test. Thanks, guys.